All right, fam, welcome back to another recap chat. This is Irene, CBiz Media. We're talking Hunt for Love from the 90 Day Fiancé franchise for all those loves that didn't turn out in marriage during the 90-day process. These are the leftover people, basically. Some of the leftovers, anyway. And they're on this retreat, this paradise, tropical place where they're supposed to be learning how to date, how to find love, how to connect. But it's about a lot of messiness, really, at the end of the day. All right, let's get back into. From the last episode, Jay and Carlo were in the middle of a battle. The girls had their night out and they, had some cat fighting going on there. And the B word was thrown around a lot. So Jay and Carlo, for the guys, they had to represent, they had to have their own little man battle here. And that's how the episode starts out, as we kind of pick up from that situation. And starting with the girls and then with the guys, Rob is happy. He's actually happy about this battle because he's like, they're deflecting off of him. A lot of people aren't talking about him anymore, so he's cool with this. And talking about the whole Tiffany Square, maybe they'll talk about that instead of him, Jen, and Cole. Carlo, he also threw around the B word. Guys and girls are calling each other the B word. Carlo calls Jay a B, and then Carlo lets us know that he thought that he was number one in Tiffany's eyes. Rob comes over to Jay, tries to be the peacemaker, and basically tells him, he must be threatened by you. And Jay's like, well, he didn't do that. When Rocky walked off with her the other night and didn't do anything to Rocky. So Rob's like, well, he must be more intimidated by you, Jay. And he was just trying to calm the situation down and telling him basically not to go there, he's like, and another thing he kept saying, you just met this person the other day, only been on a date or two, and people are acting like this is their lifelong partner. Just relax. This is what the whole purpose of this retreat is to get to know people, get to know yourself and what you like and what you want to do and how you can be better at this. So just calm down. And he said, Jay, the thing that kept standing out to me, Jay kept saying Carlo was cool the other day. He didn't give him a problem. So now he's going to start a fight. Yeah, maybe he's starting this fight for the camera guy. He wants some more camera time. Obviously, the way this show is set up, all of the 90-day alums get more camera time than the other people involved. For me, this is the first time I've seen a mix of people like this. So I guess you got to fight for camera time to be seen. And Tim plays Peacemaker on the other side with Carlo saying, Carlo and Cole are acting like they're brothers. The Carlo-Cole brothers there. Tim says, hopefully everything is cool. I didn't want to get, hit in the face based off of you guys, and, just calm down and all of this. So those two are playing Peacemaker. Of course, the 90-Day family is going to play Peacemaker so they can have more starring shots in the show. Tim says Jen would love guys fighting over her like this, but Tiffany's not that type of girl, and she'll probably not be happy to hear about this information. Okay, so now the girls kind of separate and dish when it comes between Jennifer, Tiffany and Elaine. They're kind of on the same side. Jennifer's on her side. So they kind of split up. And they're kind of arguing about the whole Jennifer situation. Then Jen returns to them and she returns in anger. But previously she's like, we're girls. We're supposed to be sticking together, sticking up for each other. This isn't the way it should go. Tiffany and Elise, they keep calling Jen the B word, especially Elise. She really goes off and just keeps BBing her like over and over like a BB gun. And Jen says, like I said, the girls shouldn't be fighting, but they're still calling her a liar. And Elise is being very aggressive, like I said. But at the end of the day, Jen said, he's not my son. whatever he does, if he's running and crying to you, that's his business. And Jen doesn't mind being called the villain. And I think we mentioned that last time. But maybe that's what she's up for. They basically are saying, Jen, you need to squash this. Your behavior, you're not coming correct. You're coming off as a liar at the end of the day. So, put everything right, square everything away. But she's not for that. So now they're about to get back on the bus, heading home, and Jen is on the bus by herself, and she's kind of screaming and fighting and talking in Spanish about this. So she's like not fighting with herself, I guess. She's upset about the situation. She's on the bus alone, and she's talking in Spanish and fussing in Spanish. Tiffany, it says she's done with the argument. So all the ladies are going home on the bus. Tim texts her, and he says, don't say anything about this, but, Jay and Carlo kind of had a little battle for you. So she didn't say anything, but she immediately shows May. And now May knows information, and I think she may have passed the phone around to some other girls. And the information comes out basically on the bus that there was a fist fight for her. And Tiffany's like, no, and even other girls saying, no, they're kind of against aggressive men. There's really no need to fight like that. If a guy can hold his own, that's great. But if he throws the first punch, that's not the type of man I want. Jennifer is kind of playing the Rob and saying she's glad now there's a new story to talk about so that it can be deflected off of her. And the girls kind of rebound with each other on the bus as they talk about guys fighting for them. And it ends up going back to Jen saying something about Cole and Rob fighting for her. And she's like, well, I only want Chantel. And she was joking around or whatever. But she did say that she was she would have wanted, her fantasy was to be with a transsexual man. I don't know what else she said, but I guess she's pretty much open. And so is Chantel, even though nobody knows her full situation about her being confused about her girlfriend at home. But the girls are now not fighting anymore. They're bonding again. So, there's a back and forth, and someone even mentioned that, hey, they're hot and cold with each other. But hey, at least they can get back on the same page and have fun with each other. Why not? Tiffany is kind of inside. She's torn. She's like, it's kind of hot there fighting over me, but it's kind of childish at the same time. And then they show footage of Tiffany and Tim. They're in the bed together, dishing, talking about this situation. And it's like, wow, this is weird. These two are straight up sitting in the bed together like girlfriends. I don't know. Anyway, I had no idea that they were that close. Chantel calls her bestie, and she's blurred out, so I guess she's wearing something inappropriate in the room or whatever she's eating. And her friend's like, I can't stop thinking about you, and it's hard being away from you and all of this. And Chantel is kind of chiming in agreement, so I don't know what's going on with Chantel. She acts like she's in love with her friend at this time, but the door is open to some other people out there. I forgot the guy who she's supposed to be connecting with. Is it Jay? No, it's not Jay. I think it's Joe. I'm horrible on names, guys. Fix me in the comments. So they're all going out to something called a sanite. It's like a water type environment. I don't remember fully what he said it was, but it's like a natural, beautiful site where water is there. They had bungalows. It was pretty cool looking, but they're not there yet. Tim is so happy that he gets to sit next to Elaine on the bus, his so-called BFF, to go to the sanite. Then he starts spraying body spray all over himself and choking everybody on the whole bus, and they're like, help. So Tim has some faux pas going on. Rob feels weird overhearing his lines that he's putting on Elaine, even though I feel like it's BFF questions. He wants to know how many numbers. Is it a double digit number or a single digit or triple digit number, or how many people you've been with? Do you have any STDs? I don't know. I guess this is questions if you're trying to date somebody, but the way he's asking, it's not like he's into her like that. It's like, hey, we're just asking questions to each other like friends. Anyway, he is into her and he wants to get to know her. He wants to shoot his shot. Again, there's beautiful scenery as they end up here at the Sanite. And the coaches are like, hey, this is a time for you to explore maybe some new partnerships, some new connections, and maybe the ones you already have as well. So Elise, Elaine, Tim, and Carlo, they all kind of hang out and they're dishing about different things that happened, the fight and all of that. And Carlo says, I didn't throw the first punch. I didn't throw any punches at all. I didn't do anything. So now Tiffany is feeling mixed signals with him because she told him about her kids. He was acting funny, but now he's acting like he's into her enough to fight for her. And she's wondering, should she have accepted that date with Jay? Was that a mistake? No, it wasn't a mistake. You're supposed to just have fun and learn about people. Look, Carlo will get over it. If you guys are meant to be, you're meant to be. To me, it's not a mistake. You're supposed to meet different people. Like, the thing I hate about what they're doing is everybody's like gluing themselves to a certain person and they will not detach or let go by any means. It's like so goofy. I mean, the point of you guys is supposed to be meeting other people and connect with other people and not just attaching to this one person that you think you love or thinks is going to give you a chance, who just won't be alone. Like, the whole point is to be alone, learn yourself, have fun, meet other people, and everybody's trying to play this attachment game. Cole and Jen talk about last night's fight. Everybody's out playing in that water and having fun, and Tim is pulled by one of the coaches and he puts the towel on, but he puts the towel over his chest. Most guys put the towel over their waist. He puts the towel all the way up over his chest, kind of like a girl. Anyway, I think the coach is asking him, did you make connections? Do you want to make connections? Like, what are you going to do? So he does talk about his desire to connect with Elaine and shoot his shot there. May and Rob, they kind of dish and talk about some of the things that happened when the girls were having their night out, and they were talking about fantasies, and he asked her fantasy, and she was like, a couple of guys, and he's like, how many is a couple? And isn't the answer in the question 2, right? But he wants her to elaborate. So then she comes out with this huge number 7, which I don't remember her saying that initially on that day, but hey, some new information's coming out. That's a lot of people. That's kind of crazy. That's too much. Too much, ladies? Let me know. What are your thoughts? Elise, Jen, and Cole, they're all together, and Elise is trying to clear this air when it comes to everybody saying she was sleeping with Rob. Cole says he didn't tell Jennifer that, but that's what Jennifer told everyone else, that he was the one that told her. So they're trying to say, who started this rumor in the first place? So Jen made this up? I'm thinking she did. Elise is playing Nancy Drew here, and she said she was gonna find out who said what. Cole ends up saying Tiffany said it, but I think he's just trying to protect Jennifer as they do this impromptu little game where she's like basically trying to fend for herself, and she has to throw somebody under the bus or have somebody go under the bus with her, and Cole's like, okay, I guess I'm going under the bus because I'll do anything for you, and probably anything for his 5 minutes of fame as well. Chantel yells, who's sleeping with Rob? Rob is like MIA. He's not in it. He's going off somewhere. And That's a good thing. Cole, he does throw Tiffany up under the bus. We're trying to find out who's the true source of this situation. Is it Cole? Is it Jen? Is it both of them? We don't know the source. So it looks like they said, let's say Tiffany, and they did like a couple team up here where they kind of tried to stick to the same story so that Jennifer won't look like that girl that she really is. I'm getting confused, but that's basically what my final thoughts are, is that basically she's playing this game and it is a game for her. And this is not just a retreat, but a game. This is not Big Brother or anything. This is not Love Island. You're not going to get voted off or anything. So I don't know why the gameplay is in play. But they are trying to be Love Island, though. Chantel pulls out her black girl lie detector voice and she is yelling, "Who said that Elise was sleeping with," I keep messing up her name. Elise is sleeping with Rob. I'm not doing it right, but she pulled off that black girl voice like, you better tell me the truth. But Tiffany speculates that it was all just made up by Jennifer. They're trying to put everybody in confusion. But I agree, Tiffany. Cole's now saying he doesn't remember. He finally walks away while the girls continue to scream and fight. And Jennifer said, he's too scared to tell the truth, because he really did say that, but he's too scared to really tell that he said it. And I don't believe her. Now Courtney and Usman. Courtney just stumbles back into the scene while they're at the Sanate, this beautiful paradise area. And she kind of gives him a little hug, and she was like, well, I was trying to get ready for our date, and I'm sorry that I couldn't get to our date because Colt fell and all that stuff happened. And she was like, well, I'll catch up to you later. And he was like, okay. She was like, they were saying that each other was looking good, but she's like, okay, gotta go. And she kind of rushed off. And he's wondering, will he get his date? And I'm wondering, will he get his date? And she's letting everybody know Colt's doing really bad. He had multiple fractures in his leg. This wasn't a simple break. They had to tell the hospital. She had to tell the hospital that she was his wife in order to get through all of these doors, because they do speak Spanish there as well. And I don't know. It's just because you're in another country and you don't want to leave your friend alone. They had to say what they had to say. It's unclear if he'll even come back to the resort at all. This is a complex surgery. They have to find a specialist to do this. It's just like a whole lot going on with Colt. And Courtney just starts to break down and say just how horrible she feels, how horrible this situation is. How could she have fun and enjoy herself when her friend is now in this state? So basically, guys, this is what's happening. This is what happened on this episode. Girl in a Love Square. I guess you're talking about Tiffany. That's the name of the episode. I'd like to see more about this Love Square, but I feel like Tiffany's gonna cop out and not explore. I really want her to see how things will be with Jay, even go out on a date with Rocky. Why is she just gonna stay so connected to Carlo and not explore when she has the opportunity and a chance to do so? Why is Tim in her bed? There's so many questions. And that's Hunt for Love. If you guys want to talk more, hear more, have your thoughts, your comments beyond on this platform, you can always email me at cbiztv@yahoo.com. That's cbiztv@yahoo.com. Check us out on our other platforms at cbiztvmedia.com. And I'll catch you again next time. Faith, love, and trends. All the best. God bless.